All right, folks. Well, it is time for us to start working on the garage. It has been a long time coming. We spent the morning just kind of getting things cleaned up. We got the lumber that was in here out of here. We got the tin out of here. Really, the next step is we're going to clean up the inside here, get rid of all the scrap wood and the tin. And then I'm going to get in here with the weed whacker. We're going to knock down all of these weeds and the grass and so forth so I can kind of see what the ground looks like. And then from there, we're going to start working on this foundation. And that's what this video is going to be about, is fixing the foundation, getting it ready, so then we can start working on the actual building itself. When I put the foundation in, I did a really mediocre job. I was kind of in a hurry. And now that, you know, I finished the greenhouse and the foundation on the greenhouse, and I'm going to do the same type of thing here. It's really hot and humid. I think Jen and I are going to be done for the day, though. And we're just going to have to pick this up tomorrow because we're dying. Hey folks, so it's been a long time coming, but we are finally getting to work on our garage. The plan here is to first work on this foundation and the floor, then we're going to side it, and then we're going to work on our gables, and then lastly rafters and a roof. Now, as you can notice, this is a floating garage. It is not attached to the foundation whatsoever, as is most of our buildings here. With that, there are some challenges that we have to overcome, which we'll talk to as I'm getting in here and building this. So the first thing that I did is I cleaned out the inside, got all the stuff that we had put in here for winter, got it all cleaned up. Then I went through with the weed whacker, wiped out all of the weeds that I could, grabbed a rake, raked it all out to try to clean it up as best I can. The next thing I did is I took my good old handy dandy level here to check the level of the building. And surprisingly, it is dead level. It is level, all four corners, all four walls. I'm actually very surprised at how it maintained level throughout the entire winter. And so that is great news. So the first thing I'm going to do today, I think, is I got to add a few blocks in a couple of strategic locations. Sure up the foundation and close up some of these gaps in between blocks. The most important one is the one behind me over here at the back corner, because that is where we're going to have the 4x4 up on the top plate for the gable that's going to hold the roof. And I want to make sure that the weight of the roof goes straight into a block, as opposed to the way that I originally set it up, where it just sits on the bottom plate. So once we have the blocks in place, then I'm going to grab my lovely assistant, aka my wife Jen, and we're going to lay plastic down. And I'm going to get the tractor, and we're going to lift the level, or we're going to lift the floor in the garage to come up about 2 inches below the bottom plate. Right now, if you look behind me, you'll see that there's double blocks underneath the bottom plate on the walls on this side, and on this side I've got single plates because this ground is not level. So by bringing gravel in, lifting up the floor a little bit, we'll be able to level the floor out, and by laying the plastic down, we'll be able to ensure that no moisture comes up from underneath. All right, so we've got a plan. Let's get started. So we had some old timers swing by, a pair of brothers. They actually own property here, and well, not too far from us, but very nice gentlemen. And I'll tell you another thing, you know, something about that really is really cool about the state of Maine is that, you know, most of the folks here that we've met, they've all been very, very nice. You know, we've never run into a situation where somebody was, you know, mean or anything just because we were out of town. I mean, these guys were awesome to talk to. So, all right, well, we've got our blocks. So I'm gonna go ahead and set them up where I want to do it, and then I'm gonna grab a little bit of gravel and some tools. We'll get these blocks into place and keep moving forward. We added a few more blocks underneath. Specifically, we needed to get that one in there because this end here is where all the weight from the ridgepole will be down. And speaking of this, we're going to actually cut these pieces out, and I'm going to put another 2x4 on this side and another 2x4 on this side, just to make sure that there's enough there to hold all of that weight. We also added 2 more blocks there, and then I got one over here and right there. So now that we have the blocks in and we've got them where we want them, the next step is to put some plastic down on the ground here and then fill it up with gravel. Okay, so we've got the first layer of gravel in here roughly. So the next thing I'm going to do is get my metal rake. I'm going to try to flatten this out a little bit. And then I'm going to get my little mower, and we're going to try to compact this first layer before I put the next layer on. The other thing I do want to mention, so one of my concerns was underneath these bottom plates here being close to the gravel. So spoke to a neighbor, and he suggested to add some paint or some sort of rubber underneath just to help keep it protected from the moisture from the gravel. In addition, the foam board I have over here, I'm going to cut some slits after I've sprayed it, and then I'm going to attach some of the foam board underneath that as well. So that should provide enough protection so that the boards don't rot. Now, if they do rot, honestly, this building, the way that it's built, is really easy. I'll just be able to jack it up, cut out the old piece, put a new piece in there. Ideally, I would have wanted to use pressure treated, but I used what I had, and rough cut lumber is what I had, so that's what I went with. All right, so the first layer is done. Now you might be asking yourself, Jason, why are you using a mower to pack your gravel? Well, sometimes you just have to use what you have. That's what we have. We've done all of our pads the same way, and they've been very good to us. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. Now that we've got this first layer down, we're gonna go ahead and add some more gravel, and then we're gonna get our mower, and then we're gonna put another layer, and then we're gonna get our mower until the ground here is at the level that we want, or at the height that we want, and level. Unfortunately though, it is getting late in the day. It is very hot. I am very tired. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is just getting the layer of gravel in here, and then I think I'm gonna call it a day for today, and then just get back at this tomorrow. It is the next day, and I gotta be honest, you know, when we come outside, when we get our day started, it's nice to just sit back. Here's Rex doing his thing there. Just sit back and kind of embrace it all, you know? We're in the middle of the woods. We got our rooster over here doing his thing. All the girls are doing their thing. The birds are chirping. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. The humidity is finally gone. You just gotta stop and just, every once in a while, just embrace it, you know? Just embrace it. So that's what I'm gonna do for a few minutes before I get started. And what we're doing today is we're gonna finish up the floor. Those knuckleheads. Yeah, we're gonna finish up the floor over here. We gotta get some more gravel, bring that floor up a little bit. And so I'm just gonna kind of sit here and take it all in for a few minutes before we get started. All right, so now that I am getting close to the level of the floor that I want, I need to start thinking about the outside here. So the plan on the outside is I'm gonna put some foam board underneath here, and then I'm also going to lay a little bit of gravel down on the ground, level it out, or at least taper it down, and then lay foam board all the way around to help prevent the frost from getting underneath the footings. From there then I need to fill up the gravel. I'm probably going to go about up to here, maybe just up to this block, I don't know yet, but I'm going to need to do that on this side. And before I get any further, I think I want to go ahead and add the foam boards underneath here before I fill in the last layer of gravel. That way I can bring the gravel all the way up to the block with where it's going to go. So yeah, there's our foam board, and all I'm really going to do is just cut it out probably about 4 inches strips, and then try to screw it in either from the top or from the bottom. We'll see how it goes. Well, if you've been watching our channel for some time, you'll know that I don't always make the right decisions. And I think, you know, after talking to my neighbor and us talking about putting the foam board underneath the bottom plate, like so, right there, it occurred to me that that's just not going to work. I've got no way to adhere the foam to the bottom plate, and in addition to that, what I found by putting them in there is they're putting a lot of pressure on the blocks, and I don't want that. So I did some thinking, I did some walking around, and I came up with another solution. So I had to go to town though, and we're going to put some zip tape on here, and I think that will give me the barrier that I need between the bottom of the bottom plate and the gravel. So I am going to start on this side here and work my way around and just cut some of the zip tape, slap it up underneath the bottom plate, and then we can go ahead and get this floor finished. Yeah, so let's do that. Get it. Get it. Well, sometimes you just have to put the camera down and you got to just get shit done. And that's kind of what happened this afternoon. See, I spent quite a bit of time going to town today, and it put me behind schedule quite a bit. So I just had to put the phone down and start getting to work. And that's what we did. So let me show you what we've done. All right, so right now we are at the back of the garage, and as you can see, all of this gravel here, and then there's also 2-inch foam board that I've laid up against the foundation, the blocks. You can see it here along this side as well. It kind of was a pain in the ass to get back here with the tractor. There's not a lot of space, but I was able to do it. Right now, all I did is just drop the gravel. So tomorrow I'll get back here with my hoe and my metal rake, and I'll go ahead and spread all this gravel out, get it in place the way it's supposed to look. Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think it's gonna move, but you know, we'll see. Winters can be pretty harsh here. So the other thing that we'll do tomorrow is we'll get that spread, but we'll also have to finish this corner here. It's just too late in the day. I'm tired, and yeah, so as for the gravel floor, we're almost there. I still need to do the corners here, or the edges, but I wanted to get the foam board down first. So but once we have that down, then I'll go ahead and finish the floor in here. It is going to be a gravel floor. Looks good. I'm really, really tired. So I'm going to call it a night. And yeah, we'll get back at it tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get the foundation and all the groundwork done, so we can start putting some siding and cut out some windows. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some more foam board and do the front and do this corner, and then get it all smoothed out so it looks like that. Then I can start working on the actual where the blocking is underneath the frame of the building. So the next thing I need to do now is I've got to get some buckets of gravel, and what we're going to do is basically take a bucket of gravel, and I'm going to start filling up underneath the gaps here. But what I think I'm going to do, originally I had, after talking to a neighbor of mine, we were going to put some foam board underneath these, but I think I'm going to still do that, just not for the same reason. I think it'll just be easy for me to seal up that gap there. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up some buckets with some gravel. It'll just be easier for me to carry it around. No, actually, it'd be easier if I just put it in the tractor and drove the tractor and used a shovel. Yeah, we're just going to do it that way. Yeah, I'm going to go get a bucket full of gravel, and we're going to start filling these in. And to be frankly honest, if you're asking yourself, Jason, why in the hell are you building this building like this without a proper foundation? Is that we needed a garage. We didn't have the means to have a pad poured or any concrete poured. We can't put piers in the ground here. So what's the next best thing? Well, this is. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing. Now, is it going to last 50 years? Hell, I have no idea. I don't even know if it's going to last 10. But the fact is that once we're done, the building is set up to a point where if one day we decide we do want to put a pad here, then we can do that. But for now, this is going to have to work. And we're just going to have to make do with the way that it's set up. And honestly, I think it's going to be just fine. But only time will tell. All right, let's finish this groundwork. Well, this took a hell of a lot longer than I had expected, but it's done. The floor is done. The floor, all of the transition underneath the bottom plate's all done. I could not be more excited, yet absolutely exhausted. There's not a lot of humidity, which is great, but that sun has been beating my ass all day. So let's talk about this. Since we didn't go with a traditional foundation, we had to get creative with ours. And I think we did a pretty good job. Underneath, the floor is plastic, so we won't have any moisture coming up. We've leveled this out from here over to there. The floor is lumpy, I ain't gonna lie, but it's good enough for what we need it for, so that's pretty cool. The outside here, I've got the gravel in here, but I'll fix this once we get the side panels on. Then we'll be able to actually fix all of this gravel, level this out, make it look good. But I need the gravel moved away from here so I can put the siding on. We're getting there, one step and one day at a time. Crazy thing is that I allotted for 2 days to do the floor and all the gravel work, and it actually took me 4. And I've been working pretty much all day, but this stuff just takes longer, especially when I don't have a roadmap to tell me what I'm doing. I'm just kind of making it up as I go. Decisions change, things change. I've got to adjust and adapt, but I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. The next step is I've got to start working on this frame. I've got to finish put the top plate on, tie the corners together. This is where the ridge beam is going to be sitting up on the top plate of the wall. I want 4 2x4s. I don't know why I didn't do it when I built it, but I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cut these guys out on both sides, and then we're going to add 2 more 2x4s, one on this side, one on this side, just to give it a little bit more strength. Once that's done and we got the top plates all tied together, I don't know, I'm either going to build the gable ends or I'm going to put siding on. I might put siding on just because it will kind of tighten the building up so when I'm up there, because I don't like heights. And I'm putting I think the roof line is going to be 5 feet, so that's a hell of a ways up there. And like I said, I don't like heights, so it's not going to be fun for me at all. Be that as it may, that's next. That's tomorrow. So for now, I think I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to go chill because I'm beat. All right, till tomorrow.